Good morning, everybody. So let's just get started here. Let me just drop this link in a couple spots and then we'll go from there. It is June 7th. It is 8:38. We're just starting a little bit late today, but we're getting there. And let's just keep rolling along. Give me 1 second, drop this link in. And then we'll be good to go. As always, just put your questions in the room and then we can just kind of go from there. I think that's the best way to go about it. And then we're good. Just bear with me 1 second. Just got to drop this link in. And then perfect. Okay. Good. And just put this in Twitter and go from there. A little rhyme today. Just bear with me. I'm just getting this out. All right, we're there. Perfect. Good morning, everyone. So let's just talk about this. So Target just really kind of set the day off, to say the least. And we should probably discuss this first. So just watch how this plays out. To me, it's not ideal. I talked about this a lot in the in the trading room, and let's just go through it here. When you have revisions like this, okay, it's not good. You can't come out and say, hey, things are really bad here. Oh, by the way, things got even worse. Like that's not what the market wants to see, or it's not what the market wants to hear in the least. So something to consider. So that's a real issue. I'm going to drink cold brew today. So I've been on a cold brew kick. I think it's because it's so hot out. Anyway, let's get into this. So I think we have to kind of take a look at what's going on in regards to that particular space, right? So if you look at that, maybe we hold that 145.50, but you need to see how much this is baked in. Maybe we get to 117 and hold, maybe we don't. But this is really not ideal at all and not setting up to be a long-term winners. It actually bothers me a lot with Amazon because I just started this position on that break on the secondary or on this split. And now I'm dealing with this nonsense this morning. So I'm really trying to see how this is going to hold in there. And this is really the low 121. I really need to make sure we hold that 121 level there. But I'm really concerned about that. That's not good at all. Not in the least that they came out and did that. And that means things are getting worse for everybody. So your retail names are going to really come in. Could Target trade up on that because they threw in the kitchen sink? It's possible. I mean, it's very possible that there's trades there and that there's possible gap fills today. If you're a betting person, take Target, right? Like, is this it? Are things so bad that they've thrown in the towel, or is that where institutions are going to go with it in their head, right? Are they going to come out and say, hey, that's wow, that's as bad as it's ever been. It's never been this bad since 08, 09. And based upon that, we need to, really focus on what we're doing, blah, blah, blah. Maybe now it's time to buy it. I don't feel that way is where my head is. Even names like this, they're rolling. I mean, Tesla's breaking. There's very little to say here. I mean, I went over this last night and I was pretty clear that we had a short position we started the other day on If you didn't watch, make sure you subscribe to the channel and like these videos. It helps me with the algorithm and it supports the channel. If you want me to continue to do these, which it seems like everybody wants. But you see how you're right here and you're breaking, right? So I went through this last night, and so this was my level that I said, hey, if you break this, just watch yourself. So we're going to break 700 this morning. And I still am short this. I was in the right position, but it gave me concern, right? Because I get that we're below the 5-day, so you have to become concerned when you're below the 5-day, right? And you see how you're 21-day and how you're respecting the 21. I use simple moving averages. Use what you want. Use what works for you. There's no golden goose, whether you're using simple or EMAs. Just use what works for you, what you're comfortable with. But breaking this 10, that is not what we want to see. I don't really want to break the 10-day and then having that start to point down. So, but this is setting up for those options to really kick in now. So let's see how that plays out, and we'll go from there. But let's go through the questions and see what questions I have, and then we can kind of start. Good morning, Jacob. What's going on, John? I would not be a buyer here of Apple. I'd be really very apprehensive of anything that is retail based. Anything that is retail based right now. You're right on that 10-day. You are set up exactly like Tesla is, and you're a retail stock. No matter how much you don't want to be, you're a consumer retail stock, and that's what you're doing this morning. So the question is that something that you'd want to? Is that something that you'd want to buy? And I don't think it is. I think you'd want to hold off on that. I mean, I don't see a sense in buying that. Like, what good is that going to do, right? I mean, you broke that. You got to be below the 5, right? So you're below the 5. The 5's pointing down now. The 10's going to start pointing down. You're riding the 21 on the way down. So would I start accumulating Apple here? No. Sadly, I think that we could be bottoming in this market, but sadly, all that's going to mean is that we could just be bouncing around in here for a couple months. You kind of have to understand that. I mean, I'm not saying you can't make money trading it, but you have to remember this. Like here, I saw someone post this today, and they're dead right. Like, if you go back and you take a look at something like NVIDIA, when NVIDIA broke in 2018, it came down, right? So NVIDIA was $73, came down, now it went all the way back up, right? But if you look at this time period from when this broke down to when it started to rally again, this took months. And so this takes months. This isn't just, we're trying to find the bottom. I mean, that's what you're trying to do right now. So you kind of have to figure that out, but I wouldn't be in a hurry there. I'd be really watching the targets of the world and seeing if they're going to bounce. Are they going to hold these levels? Are they going to slice through them? Right now, they are trying to hold that level, right? So that's going to be your lead today to see how Target really responds, to see how Amazon responds. Do they find buyers, right? Do buyers step up, or do people just throw in the towel? That's really what you're looking for. So long term, when I buy Apple here, if you're looking out years, if you're looking out years, that's long term. If you're looking out like a month or two, I'm not so sure you do. I mean, you have a downtrend that's not being broken. You have another downtrend right here. I can draw that better. Right? I mean, the larger issue too with Apple, see how the RSI is rejecting right here. So the other problem that you have with Apple is where their facilities are. Like they're completely reliant on Shanghai, and Shanghai is on the zero COVID policy where they're open one day and then they're shut down the next. I mean, it's absolute insanity to me. Like, it's really insanity because you have 26 million people and you're saying not one person can have any symptoms of COVID. I don't know how you're going to do that. I really don't. And Apple needs that Shanghai port. Without it, they have a real problem. So they have to start building facilities here or somewhere else in the world that that they have more sway, or is that is more business friendly? I mean, I know they're saving on a fortune on what they're paying those people over there, but from a company standpoint, we don't have to get into the whole human rights part of it, but I think they have real issues. Like, I've not been a real buyer of it. I think they have real issues based upon how they're setting up their company, and I think that they need to have more plants than they have. That's where my head is with it. So I would not want to be in their position, reliant the way that they are right now on China. That's how I view it. And that's fundamentally, technically, you have a real issue here. You have a real pickle. I had a positive divergence, trying positive divergence here. And so far, we've gotten to that one level and we've just rejected. So if I was going flat and basing like even this, I might say, yeah, you could try to build and see what happens. But we're not even doing that. We're just running up and rolling. And then companies are coming out and revising numbers down again after revising numbers 3 weeks ago. So that's what scares me about AMD's comments, why we're on the subject of tech. Like, AMD has not come out and revised their guidance of double revenue. But yesterday's move, where they issued a secondary and said, oh, we can shelf it and hold it for 3 years. Well, why did you have to do that Monday at 10 o'clock in the morning if that's where your head was? So it's concerning for me for all of tech. So my antenna is up. So no, I would not be a huge buyer of that right now. Hey, Robert, good morning. What's going on, Leo? Good morning. SPX levels, downside, please. What do you think for puts today? I don't know that you do puts today. I think that move was yesterday. I don't know that you would. I don't know that you need to be doing. I don't know that you need to be doing puts today. I think that you need to be cautious on what you're doing this morning. Look, you have Yellen speaking at 12 o'clock today. Okay, that's not going to go over great, right? That's going to be an issue. We all know that. I mean, like, she's not the most eloquent person lately, so that's going to be, and that's me being nice. So that's not going to go well. But I'm down what this morning on the SPY? You're down 1% already, and now we're going to pull. We're going to start shorting. It seems like yesterday was that day, right? I mean, that's when we added to a bunch of stuff yesterday in the trading room. But I don't know that I would be a big short person here. I mean, what if we don't break, right? Like, what if we don't take out that level, like here? What if you don't take out that low? What if you don't take out 407, right? So really what you need to do here, let's look at it this way. So you can kind of get where my head is. So I kind of have a flag here, right? And I'm kind of above that level right here. And we're holding this bonk, bonk, bonk. And we're sitting right on there this morning. So I'm not so sure that's where I would short, okay? To me, I'm at the low end of a flag. If I break this 405, all bets are off. Are there signs that this is going to break? Yeah, there's all kinds of signs. I mean, here, look at the 5-day. 5 days pointing down. So, I mean, as I have been saying for a while, if you use that 5-day and as soon as you break below it, you just stop. That's what you want to do. It works perfectly. It's been working like a dream. So, like, you go long when you're over it, and the minute it starts breaking, start looking to putting shorts back on. I'm not crazy that this RSI is rolling at all. I'm not crazy about that either. You're going to break the 10-day today, maybe, right? The only thing that's really pointing us up is going to be energy, and that's not going to be, that we're at 120 now in energy. I think it's going to go higher, but it's going to hit a point where we're just going to have a revolt in the country. So, I mean, I think that's where we're heading. Like, people are not going to stomach $10 oil. They're just, or $10 gas. They're just not. So it's ridiculous. And it's going to be an issue. I don't know that I would be shorting that right now. Yep, I like Amazon. I actually have a position in Amazon. What I don't like is Target's news. Target's news changed a lot today. And just the fact that they came out and guided lower again is an issue. Now, seeing some people go out there, I've been watching it while we're talking, Haley. You are seeing people come in and buy it when it got down to that 145 level that we talked about. Let me show you that right here, right? So when we got down to there, there's that buyer who's ever there is still there. So that's good. So they have some kind of standing order there to keep purchasing at 145. According to their models or whatever, that's where they want to own it. I don't know how many buyers are there. I have no idea. But that's a good sign because that means at least we have a backstop. If you have a backstop on target, you're going to have a backstop on all of them, right? Because they're going to watch those start trading up. It's all going to trade in tandem. But right now, I'm a little concerned. I could roll right here. I could break down on the RSI. This could roll. So I'm going to let the position play itself out. I'm going to watch off the open and then kind of go from there. I may trade it long off the open. I might trade target long off the open. I certainly am not looking at shorting target down 7% after being down 10%. I mean, that's not really that appealing. But there might be a short-term trade here on the upside just to scalp a little bit of money and then move on. So we'll see how that goes. And what do you think of puts for the day? We'll see. And so I will watch the puts. So that's where I'm at on Amazon. I like it long time. What inverse ETFs can I get today? I don't know that I'd be buying inverse ETFs today. I mean, we're down 1.5% on the Qs. If you want to, Vivian, you could look at this. I mean, this makes the most sense, right? That makes the most sense. But it's a volatile thing. It's volatile. So a lot of people are like, oh, just buy it and hold it. Okay, good luck. But that to me looks like it's about to go up. So, I mean, if you want to make those bets, yeah, I mean, they're there. Like this SARC to me looks like it's setting up big time to break out. I'm not crazy about these patterns at all for being long stock. That's why I put the brakes on after Friday, and we've been leaning short in the room to just back into our energy trades, which is, it is what it is. I mean, we're still making money, but I like it when, things keep going up and we're just not there. But if we look at SARC and then we overlay the 50-day, I mean, look at that, right? Here's the 10. I mean, come on, like, look at this. Like this is setting up, right? This is setting up like here, right? Like this is where you've been buying stuff at the 50. Like here, look at this, Vivian. Pulled right back to the 50. And what did we do? Found buyers or sellers, I should say, right? Because the bond yields as yields go up. So, maybe we're going back down. And that's kind of where my head is right now. So we're going to have to watch that. But you're going to have to watch the open. You're going to have to watch how she talks. And I would want to be flat on the day or near flat before I put that SQQ trade on. Same with SARC. Maybe if I could get flat on the day. I think ARC has just gotten decimated. But here we are again, rolling and breaking. So I don't know that I'd be buying SOSX anymore. We seem to be in this trading range, right? I mean, maybe you can buy it at 43 if you're waiting to wait and see if we sell back down. That 58 seems to be a level. I'm not so sure NVIDIA sees those levels again. I'm not so sure NVIDIA sees 150 again. I could very well bounce in here now for a very long period of time, unless they guide lower. So if you're looking for a trade, it might just be the overall that tech's going to roll again. And then it would be SQQ, Vivian, and SARC. But I'd be more interested in getting them if I could get them flat on the day, right? Like that would be an appealing place to possibly buy those. So hope that helps. Oil. Yep. So natural gas, there's not much to say about it. I mean, it's just been rocking and rolling. You can't buy it up here. This is the level that, so in other words, if you're natural gas, you're the actual natural gas, right? So your commodity. So look at how that's going. I don't think you can buy that up here. Every time it gets up here, it rejects. Right? It's same thing with like Exxon. It's like a hot stove. They just, as soon as they get near it and they touch it, it comes in again. Right? Same thing with Exxon. I mean, how many times have we tried 100 and not gotten there yet? Right? So something to think about there, and definitely a concern of mine. You know, you look at these names and they're moving, they're grinding, but they're not really doing much. I would be really, apprehensive here. So Amazon, I think that, I like that trade, maybe. So we'll have to see. But you got to be really careful here with everything. Boyle, to me, I'd be cautious. I would not be buying that up here. It's rejected too many times. And too many people are getting involved in the, like you saw this all over social media yesterday, people are getting involved in these trades, which means that we're going to get more volatility. We're going to start getting a wider berth of range in these trades. So I'm not saying that oil is not going to continue to go up. It is, in my opinion. I think crude's going to go up. And why this matters for Boyle is because that means that Boyle is going to go up. But that doesn't mean it's going to go up right away. Right. So I would wait for something emphatic where I had to close over 131.15 on a daily, maybe, because we have yet to be able to do that. So maybe that would be a good spot to start. Hey, Saucy. ATKR. Yeah. Yeah, I'd watch that. I would watch that. I'd watch that level. You're breaking out a little bit. You're a little overextended here, aren't you? It's not like you're breaking out and you're at this level. I don't know that I'd get involved. Got a little bit of volume, but nothing great, right? I mean, that's not exceptional volume. Is it? Not really. You're not even over 2. Maybe if you get another push, maybe. Earnings are out. It acted well to earnings. If you've been basing for a long period of time, I mean, that can go. There's a channel right there, right? Let's get rid of all this. I mean, there's a channel right there too. So I'll see. So like here. So maybe we can get up to that level. Maybe. I'd be careful there just because these breakouts have not worked, right? They haven't worked, right? You broke out here. It didn't work. So maybe follow through, because none of these had follow through, right? They broke out and then they rolled. So maybe what you look for is follow through, and then you can try it, because eventually it might work, right? It might pull one of these. So maybe the move is to wait for that 125 and then see how it goes. There's a lot going on with Save Cameron. So, I mean, you have a lot of people battling for them. A lot of people battling for them. So see how that plays itself out. It's not something that I would, it's not something that I would be going near. You have a lot of people trying to buy it, not buy it, bid on it. There's all kinds of news. I mean, it's not something I would be playing with. I mean, it just isn't. I have no idea what happens to it. It seems like whenever it breaks down here, whenever it breaks down, it's a value play, right? So you get down to here, then what do? Then you buy it because it's going to trade itself back up. So something to think about. I mean, it's not something that I would be going, hog wild with. What's going on, William? UVXY calls for next Friday. Wow. Yeah, you're really out there. So you have a lot of data coming out, and I'm not so sure that I'd be wanting to be in those. I mean, you can try it, but you have CPI Friday. What if it's good? Right? You broke your trend line. You really want to play with that? No volume whatsoever. No one's going near it. I mean, maybe if you're thinking it's going to hold here and then go what? Up to here? You need something. You need some kind of driver, and I just don't see it. Right? I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm saying that I don't see it. I wouldn't do it, CO. I would not be a trade I would do. What's going on, Sasha? SLVM. So, yeah, in regards to this, I mean, it looks great. I have no volume, zero volume. So just based upon that alone, I wouldn't go near it. Also, what's going on with this wonky reversal bar? So they pop me up only to bring me back down. You knock me up to knock, you know what I mean? Bring me up to knock me down. Not like an Elton John song or something, but right here, I would not be crazy about that bar, and I'm certainly not crazy about that volume. And I can't even stay above the average volume. That's not ideal. What's going on, Billy? CBRL reported this morning. Room on daily chart. Look left. Okay. Down 2% on the news, so maybe it was expected. Yeah, I mean, I definitely wouldn't be going near this. I mean, every time you get to that 50, it's short, right? Look at this. Every single time you're over that 50-day, someone's selling this. So that's definitely not something I'd be going near. I mean, if you're trying to play a bounce, go for it. But, I mean, you've been in a major downtrend for over a year from here. I mean, that doesn't get any cleaner. We all know who sells in that kind of ranges. Let's clone this. I mean, I can already see it. So they're just walking you down. That's not something I'd be buying. I mean, you could see it. You can just see the technical pattern right here, right? So, yeah, I mean, this can go down a lot lower. I wouldn't be playing with that. I don't know, Fred. I don't know where Tesla's going. I mean, I am short the name. I broke the 5. I'm not where I want to be, right? I'm below the 5. I'm below the 10 now. So I'm just going to leave it alone. I mean, realistically, you're going to this crucible level. I mean, you kind of have to think like that, right? Like there's no real volume in there. So here, let's look at it this way, Fred. Let's get rid of the 5, right? And we'll get rid of those moving averages. And let's just see how much volume and support do I have in here. I have some support in here in these levels. So maybe I hold in here somewhere. Maybe there's a catch. But if you were looking at this to be super technical, you would say that there's really no support until you get to like here, which puts you at like 680. Right now, you're really getting to like this kind of level in here where you have an open and a close. So you're at like 666. It's kind of scary. But from here down, I mean, look at that. Like with that, let's just go here for a moment. Let me just get rid of the changes in the time. From here down, like that's where I have 2 lines meeting and crossing. That's major support to me that we're here. So could you get to 619 again? Yeah, you could. I mean, there's a reason I left the short on. So you have to see. You're going to have to see, Fred. But I definitely wouldn't be a buyer. maybe that means we should be buying because that's usually how this game works. But I mean, really all they're doing is walking you down. That's all they're doing. My hope is that they were setting us up to base. I'm starting to second guess that. I would add to LABU under 5, not until. Dan, I mean, that's where I would be looking at it. Get me under $5 and I'll probably add to it. Until then, I have no interest. I'll continue to do, buy it under 5, trim it up over 6, wait for that 670 breakout that we just don't seem to really be getting, right? I mean, you're like touching it and then you're not touching it and then you're rolling, coming back down. So for me, that's what I'm looking for. The only thing that I would say is I might not see that again. I might not see 5, right? I might see like 520, or I might only see 530, 540. So maybe mid to low 5s, probably low 5s is where I'd add to it, somewhere in there. Something under 550 might be appealing, to look at something like that. That might be good. So say that's what I would focus on. Under 5, 530, 540, something like that. Yeah, I mean, let's just talk about this. So this is going to go violently one way or another, and I'm surprised no one's brought it up until now. I have the 45 puts. I'm short stock, and I have the 50 calls against this. I didn't do a full straddle. I talked about a full straddle at like 45. I kind of staggered it when it traded up yesterday because it doesn't really, to me, it didn't matter. Like you could do it like that, but to me, this is going to go violently one way or another. I don't think a full approval is baked in at $47, $48. I think if they get approval that we're going to be up 20 points or more. I think if they don't get approval, this could be a teenager. So I think if they don't get approval, this is going to be super ugly. So my bet is actually leaning towards down, but I have a large out of the money hedge on. So, I'm going out to this week. That's all I'm going out to. So, we'll see what happens with it. I mean, I really don't have any more information for you. I'm leaning towards they're not going to approve it because I'm leaning towards politically they want to start seeming like they're actually looking out for the public. What better way than to not approve another vaccine, saying we don't need it, we don't have an emergency. What better way to, say we're looking out for people? I don't know. I mean, there's just something about it that makes me think that I'm leaning that way. And also the myocarditis information that came out on it that was released was really bad. And emergency means that we don't have something else outstanding. Well, we do. The only thing that they might be able to get away with is they're saying that they're not mRNA technology, and they might say that there are people out there that need the vaccine, right, that can't do mRNA technology. That's the only thing I can think of. So, Tariq, I'm not on the board. I don't know, but I'm short, but I have my hedge on. Yeah, I still think PPR is a great company. I have some issues going on there. I'm staying with it, but we have some political issues and some overhang. I mean, you got the president of Brazil firing the CEO. A little different than we do things here in the U.S., but there it is. So I like it. Yeah, I do. I still think that, John. SJM reported guidance, soft. Yeah, I mean, I can see that. People just aren't buying, these kinds of they're just not buying this kind of stuff right now. So, I mean, maybe that breaks. That's pretty washed out, though, man. I'd be careful there. I'd be careful shorting that. Yep. Ram, I think, good morning. Ram, I think that you're in a position here that DocuQ could just be a disaster. I don't think you can go on the premise that it's not going to be a disaster. I mean, it's pretty clear, right? I mean, here you can say it, right? Disaster. I mean, I don't think it's rocket science to think that this could be bad, right? I mean, ever since people started going back to work, that was the end of this, and growth just slowed, and people use it for free. I mean, I know people that just keep creating new accounts and use it for free, which is kind of stupid. It's like $20, but I think it's going to be the standard, and I think it's one of the companies that makes the most sense that went through the pandemic. I think it makes way more sense than like Zoom, because Zoom has so many competitors, right? So for me, I can get that. Peloton is, that's toast. But out of the names that are there that are going to work, Docu, it makes sense to me because you can work from anywhere in the world, right? And I mean, I could be in Singapore right now and sign a document to buy a house in California. So there's definitely something with it. There's a couple competitors, but nothing as great as them. Look, here's the bottom line: 12 cents, 17, 22, 37, 44, 47, 58, 58, 48. You see the decrease in earnings? You decrease in earnings again, that's not going to be good. So just watch that. Or maybe they came up with, maybe they have competitions I'm not aware of, but I don't think they're going to be good. Cassie, aftermarket, high, IV. Let's take a look. And then I'm going to have to wrap this up. I would not go near that. It's not something I would play with. I'm familiar with the company, and it's been like a little bit of a beast, right? But it's not something I would play with at all. Not even a little bit. So I'd watch it. AERC, FDA clearance, RB pullback. AERC. I mean, that's not my kind of play. Maybe it works. I mean, it's just being manipulated, right? So you can try it. I mean, you need the higher high. That's all you need. You need a higher high, and then you can try it. But it's not something I would be going near. ATI thoughts? It looks okay. I mean, I don't see anything great about that. I don't see anything. Gap fill, I think we might have an issue. It's going to undie. You could see a gap fill in SPX. That could happen. UCO. Yeah, I mean, look, it could just keep pushing, Di. I mean, it absolutely could keep pushing. In regards to SPY, could you gap fill? I mean, maybe. I don't know. I don't know how they're going to treat this off the open. I'm really curious. I'm really curious how they're going to treat Target. Are they going to be like, we're throwing in the towel, we've had it, or are they going to be like, Target's washed out now? Now's the time to buy Target, right? Like, we just don't know yet. All right, so Jen, biotech, Papa Job. Yeah. I don't watch your videos. Let's take a look at Jen. Yeah, I mean, if you're scalping, I get it. You're just trying to get in and out. Yeah, like something like that. To me, I mean, that's got like short me written all over it. That's not my kind of trade at all. But I get it. I mean, you can sit there and scalp these and make money. I know people that do it all day long and do well. Yep, NVAX is halted. It could be all day. ASML Zim I like a lot, but you're in that channel. You got to do something here. You're actually in a kill zone. It's going to go one way or another, Shane. Zoro, ASML semiconductors really can't exist without it. I like it. Just got to watch it, but I don't see any big hurry there whatsoever. So Yep, NVAX is going to be halted until they're done. And it could be all day long, night. It could be all day today and all day tomorrow. They might not open it till tomorrow. So, I mean, that's very possible. LU looks interesting. Yeah. Not something I would play with buds. I mean, what are you playing? Earnings? I mean, what's so interesting? Yeah. I don't know. It's not really that overly appealing. Yeah, BPD looks great. 10-year, I don't think it's going to come down. I think that we had our chance. That's my concern with it. I mean, this is really like the Fed that we have in there, the Treasury Secretary. I mean, it's like the gang. It's not a political statement, but it's literally the gang that can't shoot straight. Like they might be the worst. It might be the worst group that I've ever seen since I've been doing this over 20 years. Like I've never seen a group of Fed members or a Treasury Secretary just so inept at their job that people on Twitter were more right than they were. I mean, that's scary. So, to me, that means we could take out this 3.25. I don't like that I don't like that we held this at all. To me, that means that I know what institutions are doing. So that scares me a little bit, Felix. CRK, CSL. Yeah, I mean, you're building a flag that could work, but where's my volume? I have no volume. No volume. Not for me. I want names that people want to own. I want that demand, Ro. I like that demand. All right, I'm out. I got to hop in the room. Everybody, trade the win today.